Our next speaker is the Honorable George Heyman, BC Minister of Environment and Climate Change Strategy. He is the MLA for Vancouver Fairview and Minister of Environment for British Columbia. He was the Executive Director of the Sierra Club of BC, one of the province's oldest environmental advocacy and education organizations, as well as the former President of the BC Government and Service Employees Union. One of the key expressions of racism and discrimination that we see is due to climate change, which drives refugees, which drives immigration, which drives a lot of the stories, as Mr. Talib Noor Mohammed was saying, the stories that are being told about people. So we are honored to have such a strong ally of the Muslim community here with us today. Your Honor, George Heyman, please go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Yusuf. I'm joining everyone today from the traditional unceded territories of the Musqueam, the Squamish, and the Tsleil-Waututh peoples. Assalamu alaikum. It's an honor to join all of you today. It's an honor to stand in solidarity with the Muslim community, as well as elected officials from all levels of government and all parties. It's been a very reflective week for me. This day, the National Day of Action and Remembrance on Islamophobia, preceded by Holocaust Memorial Day. It's a week, it's a time of both horror and hope. The horror is obvious. At least 11 people have been killed in Canada due to Islamophobia since the 2017 Quebec City mosque shootings. Since the first National Day of Action a year ago, we've lost 4 members in London, Ontario to a horrific act of hatred and racism. And as others have pointed out, Muslims continue to face more online hate than any community in Canada, in addition to many daily incidents of discrimination, systemic racism, microaggressions, acts that take place that simply shouldn't take place. When I think back to 2017, it's emblematic to me of the hope that that often follows or helps us dispel the horror. I stood outside the mosque in my community, just 2 blocks from my office, and I watched a steady stream of people from all walks of life in not just Vancouver, in the broader area, come to express their grief, our grief, the horror at what had taken place, and to show Muslims in our community that that was not us, that was not the community in which we wish to live, that was not the relationship we wanted to have with them. I think it is important. Days like today, events like this are important to bring people together, because we need to talk to each other about what is happening. We need to be aware, even as we remember the horrors of the past, that horrors continue to take place every day, every week. We've seen trivialization in the last week of what was one of the most horrific periods of history for my ancestors, the Holocaust. It's important, though, that we speak to each other. It's important that we speak to others in the community, and we make it clear that not only does hatred have no place and racist violence have no place in our communities, that it's counter to everyone's interest. It doesn't help us build the strong communities in which we wish to live. I was reflecting about some of the casual trivialization and diminishment that many people feel for their faith, for their background in school as young people. And it made me, I listened earlier, it made me think back to my time as a young boy in school, listening to casual anti-Semitic remarks that young children were making, essentially repeating what they'd heard their parents say. And I know how small it made me feel. And I know I struggled as a boy, as a child, with whether to speak out about my faith and my family's faith and my history. And it wasn't until I became older and stronger that I was able to do that. It's understandable that children, although many do have the strength to stand up and speak out, that it is hard as a child, but it is not hard for adults. In fact, it is the nature of being an adult to stand up for each other, to embrace each other, to build a stronger community, and to oppose hatred wherever we see it. So I want to thank everyone here today, my colleagues from the BC legislature, from the federal parliament, from various municipalities. It's an honor to stand with everyone today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister. And hearing you share what happened to your family, it touched my heart as we stood in solidarity with our Jewish brothers, sisters, and friends on International Holocaust Memorial and Remembrance Day. We were reminded that, as Peter was saying, we stand for justice. We stand for justice no matter who it's for. And to be on this call today, standing against Islamophobia, also means we stand against anti-Semitism, anti-women hatred, anti-Black hatred, anti-Asian hatred, all kinds of discrimination. And I appreciate you speaking from the heart and sharing your truth with us. I know it's not easy to share personal loss of such a nature, but thank you again for doing so. We appreciate having you here today with us. Jazakallah, as we say in Arabic.